here and we're ready whenever you want. Okay. Right, Trish?
Yeah, gonna call to order our regular scheduled city council, assessor agency, Stanton Housing Authority special meeting. We have a closed session at 5:30. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council Agency Authority Member Taylor.
Here.
Council Agency Authority Member Torres.
Here.
Council Agency Authority Member Warren.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chairperson Van.
Here.
And Mayor Chairman Schauber.
Here. No quorum.
Yes, we do.
Is there anyone from the audience who would like to address the closed session agenda?
Mayor, we have no requests, no written requests, and no members of the public in the audience at this time.
Esteemed attorney, will you tell us what we're doing?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There are 3 items on closed session. The first is conference with legal counsel anticipating litigation, exposure pursuant to Government Code Section 5495619, one case. The next is existing litigation pursuant to the same Government Code Section, one case. It's John Doe versus Doe 1 Police Department and Doe 2 City of Stanton et al. That's case number 30-2022. 012955559. The last is existing litigation under the same Government Code Section, one case, Pacific Residents Association et al. Versus City of Stanton.
Already says to our closed session.
City Council now convenes in closed session. At this time, we have the staff and all the functions business.
Okay, I'm gonna call to order the Stanton City Council, Special Agency, Housing Authority Joint Session Regular Meeting. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Council Agency Authority Member Torres.
Here.
Council Agency Authority Member Taylor.
Here.
Council Agency Authority Member Warren. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chairperson Van. Here. And Mayor Chairman Schauber.
Here. If you'd all please join us in the pledge. Common for all time's sake, go ahead.
Raise your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, voices stand. Madam Attorney, can you get our closed session?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There's nothing to report.
Okay, we have a presentation by the America on Track, sharing their mission with the City Council and providing information on operations. Come on down.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Schauber, Mayor Pro Tem Van, and distinguished council members. My name is Claire Bramer. I'm the Executive Director and Co-Founder of America on Track. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to share a little bit about our organization and a specific project that we're working on here in the city of Stanton. So thank you so much. Online knowledge. So America on Track was founded in 1995 and our mission is to inspire brighter futures. The way we do that is we build youth leaders, we support families, and we strengthen communities through numerous life-transforming programs. Throughout Orange County, we serve over 44,000 unduplicated children and families each and every year. And our vision is to break the cycle of poverty, incarceration, and hopelessness through long-term youth development, education, and life-enhancing programs. We're all about transforming lives through a variety of programs. Some of our programs include leadership development for both youth and adults. Mentoring, we have a program for mentoring children of prisoners. We focus on academic achievement with all of the youth that we work with. We have many programs that focus on fitness and nutrition education. And then finally, comprehensive programs on drug and vape use prevention. Something that we're particularly proud of at America on Track is that all of our programs are scientifically evaluated. We hire one of the best firms in the country, an outside evaluation firm, the Center for Applied Research Solutions. And for the past 25 years, they have been evaluating our programs. And that way we can adjust and refine the programs as needed to make sure that our goals are being accomplished, and if they're not, we can see why and make appropriate adjustments. That's something that we're very proud of and invest a lot of time and resources into. Today, I'm so proud to have a group of amazing Stanton residents and SEAC members who've been working with us quite some time now on a project to reduce youth access to tobacco. And they are actually going to be sharing the rest of the information here. I'll be on hand to answer any questions at the end if you have any for us. But I want them to share their experience of what they've been doing with America on Track in the city and why they feel strongly about protecting youth from the tobacco products that are so prevalent and so dangerous for young people. I understand there's a 10-minute time limit, give or take, and when we timed this, we have it down to 10 minutes in English. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but we may go over that time, and I hope we'll have a little grace because many of our work group members speak Spanish primarily, so they will be presenting in Spanish, and Alondra Cook, our program coordinator in our contract, will be translating in English once they've finished. So we will likely go over 10 minutes, and I apologize, but it's only because we want to make sure that they can present the language they're comfortable with, but that you understand what they've said. Also, I want to let you know that we've given the city clerk booklets with all of the data and more information you'll ever want to know about what we're talking about. You'll have access to that afterwards. I've already given the booklets for each one of you, so you'll have access to additional information. And also, of course, this presentation, if you want to reference it afterwards, we'll be emailing it to the city clerk. So I will be on hand, and now I'd like to turn it over to Hannah. Hannah, one of our work group members, and she'll introduce the rest of the team. Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Shirley and Ben and City Council members. My name is Hannah. I am a volunteer with America on Track. I have been a SEAC member for the last 5 years. First, I want to thank you for having us here today. A group of dedicated and concerned Stanton residents joined America on Track, tobacco-free work group, because we are care about the well-being of our youth and residents. As you all may know, Stanton has the accepted tobacco retail license and labels being campaign. However, there are some groups that don't protect Stanton youth. My fellow worker group members will be shared data which we have collected and explain why the city of Stanton should take action tonight to protect our youth from lifetime and nicotine addiction. There are 4 ways to straight Stanton. Update the division of tobacco retail to include the retail group sell tobacco production. Include the division of labeled tobacco equity, efficiency, and enforce and prevent mandatory and I will now turn over to my colleague Eugenio to talk about the first of these group calls.
Buenas noches. Buenas noches, honorables alcaldes y miembros del Consejo Municipal. Mi nombre es Eugenia, soy madre voluntaria de American Trust y también miembro de CIA. He sido residente por más de 30 años en Estado. La razón por la que me involucré en el tipo de trabajo de libre de trabajo de American Trust es porque veo muchos niños con cigarrillos y vaporizadores. Y es muy preocupante ver cómo pueden acceder a ellos muy fácilmente. Aunque tengo hijos ahora ya adultos, todavía me preocupan los niños pequeños de nuestra comunidad. Todas las condiciones recomendadas que estamos proponiendo provienen de la política modelo de licencia de venta minorista de tabaco del Centro de Derecho de Salud Pública y han sido utilizadas por cientos de ciudades o en todo California. La primera laguna es definición de minoristas de tabaco. Los miembros del grupo de trabajo recomiendan que actualice la definición de minoristas de tabaco para incluir a todas las minoristas que venden productos de tabaco como 7-Eleven, tiendas de comestibles de las gasolinerías y florerías. Las tiendas de tabaco no son los únicos lugares que venden productos de tabaco saborizados en el cantón. En el lado izquierdo de esta diapositiva muestra la definición actual de Santos de un minorista de tabaco que solo se aplica a las tiendas que tienen tabaco como el 50% de sus existencias lugares en el comercio, lo que básicamente significa solo tiendas de tabaco. En el lado derecho hay una definición de la ordenanza modelo del Centro de Derecho de Salud Pública que incluyen todos los minoristas de tabaco, lo que le hace más justa para todas las empresas y protege aún más de nuestros jóvenes. Ahora me gustaría cederle la palabra a los desarrolladores.
Good evening, Mayor Schauber and City Council members. My name is Eugenia, and I am a care volunteer with American Trust. I am also a member of SIA. I have been a resident of Kansas for more than 30 years. The reason I became involved with American Trust Tobacco-Free Work Group is because I see a lot of children with cigarettes and vapes, and it is very worrying to see how they can get access to the nicotine. Although I have children who are adults now, I am still concerned about the young children in our community. All of the recommendations and definitions that we are proposing are from the Public Health Law Center Model Tobacco Retailer License Policy and have been used by hundreds of cities throughout California. The first loophole in the definition of the tobacco retailer, the work group members recommend that you update the definition of the tobacco retailer to include all retailers who sell tobacco products such as 7-Eleven, grocery stores, gas stations, and liquor stores. Smoke shops are not the only places that sell flavored tobacco products. Yes. On the left side of this slide, it shows that CIT's current definition of a tobacco retailer, which only applies to stores that have tobacco as 50% of the regular stock in trade, which pretty much means only smoke shops. On the right side is the definition from the Public Health Law Center Model Ordinance, which includes all tobacco retailers, making it more fair for all businesses and further protecting our youth. Now I will turn it over to Lorena.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Lorena Rebollar. Soy madre voluntaria de American Contact y también soy miembro de CIA. He sido residente de Stanton por más de 25 años. Me involucré porque soy madre de 4 hijos. También participo en las escuelas de mis hijos como madre voluntaria. Me preocupa la forma en que las compañías tabacaleras se anuncian y lo fácil que es conseguir este producto. Incluir la definición de tabaco saborizado es importante porque la mayoría de los jóvenes dicen que consumen tabaco porque tienen sabores que me gustan. Lamentablemente, Los sabores enmascaran el sabor áspero del tabaco, lo que hace que sea más fácil para los niños fumar. En el lado izquierdo de esta diapositiva se muestra que Stanton no tiene actualmente una definición de producto de tabaco saborizado. En el lado derecho hay una definición detallada que se puede utilizar. Además, es importante agregar una tarifa de solicitud adecuada para la aplicación de la ley, ya que proporciona recursos financieros para ayudar a la ciudad a hacer cumplir la ley. La tarifa de licencia debe cubrir el costo administrativo y el cumplimiento del programa de licencia. El tabaco es la única industria a la que se le permite vender legalmente un producto que matará a los consumidores cuando se use según lo previsto. Una vez adicto, es extremadamente difícil dejar de fumar. En el lado izquierdo de esta diapositiva se muestra la tarifa actual de licencia minorista de tabaco de Stanton para la definición de licencia. Como puede ver, dice que puede tener una tarifa de solicitud, pero estoy bastante seguro de que actualmente no hay una. En el lado derecho hay una definición que dice que la tasa se calculará de manera que se recupere el costo total de administración y ejecución. Ahora me gustaría ceder la palabra a mi colega María Salgado.
Good evening. My name is Morena, and I am a parent volunteer with America on Track. I am also a member of SIAC, and I have been a resident of SIAC for over 25 years. I became involved because I am a mother of 5 children. I am also involved in my kids' schools as a parent volunteer. I am concerned about how the tobacco companies advertise and how easy it is to get this product. Including the definition of a flavored tobacco, it is important because most youth say that they use tobacco because it comes in flavors they like. And sadly, the flavors mask the harsh taste of tobacco, which makes it easier for kids to smoke. On the left side of this slide, it shows that Seattle does not currently have a flavored tobacco product definition. On the right side is a detailed definition that can be used. Also, adding an adequate application fee for enforcement is important because it provides financial resources to help the city enforce the law. The licensing fee should cover the administrative and enforcement costs of the licensing program. Tobacco is the only industry allowed to legally sell a product that will kill consumers when used as intended. Once addicted, it is extremely difficult to quit. On the left side of this slide, it shows the Stanton's first tobacco retail license for license definition. As you can see, it says that it may have an application fee, but I'm pretty sure that there currently is not one. On the right side of this definition, it says that the fee shall be calculated so as to recover the total cost of administration and enforcement. Now I would like to turn it over to Maria.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es María Salgado. Soy madre voluntaria de America on Track y también soy miembro de SIAC. He sido residente de Stanton durante 37 años. Me involucré porque estoy casada, tengo 4 hijos, nietos, sobrinos, soy voluntaria en escuelas y he mirado cómo los jóvenes usan vapeadores. Me preocupa cómo las compañías tabacaleras hacen su producto que parezca muy atractivo para los jóvenes. La última laguna que hay que corregir en la frecuencia de supervisión del cumplimiento. El monitoreo de cumplimiento garantiza que los minoristas de tabaco cumplan con las leyes locales y estatales. America on Track ha desarrollado paquetes educativos para ayudar a las tiendas minoristas de tabaco de Buena Paz a comprender y cumplir con las leyes y también estarían encantados de desarrollar uno para Stanton. Actualmente Stanton no tiene una definición de monitoreo de cumplimiento. Solo pedimos que todas las tiendas reciban controles de cumplimiento al menos 2 veces al año. Stanton no es una ciudad grande, por lo tanto no debería llevar mucho tiempo ni dinero completar estas comprobaciones de cumplimiento. Ahora me gustaría cederle la palabra a mi colega Guadalupe.
Good evening, my name is Maria Salgado. I am a parent volunteer with America on Track, and I am also a member of SIAC. I have been a resident of Stanton for over 37 years. I became involved because I am married, I have 4 children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and I am a volunteer in schools and I have seen how youth use vapes. I am concerned about how the tobacco companies make the product look very appealing to youth. The last loophole is to fix is compliance monitoring frequency. Compliance monitoring ensures that the tobacco retailers are following the local and state laws. American Track has developed an educational package to help Winter Tobacco retailers stores understand and comply with the law, and they'd be happy to develop one for Stanton too. Stanton currently does not have a compliance monitoring definition. We are only asking that every store receives a compliance check at least twice a year. Stanton is not a large city, therefore it should not take much time or money to complete these compliance checks. I will turn it over to Lalo.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Guadalupe Villa. Soy madre voluntaria de American Track y también soy miembro de CIA. He sido residente de Stanton durante 18 años. La razón por la que me involucré con el grupo de trabajo libre de tabaco de American Track es porque para mí es importante que mantengamos los productos de vapeo con sabor fuera del alcance y de los estantes de los niños. Soy madre de un adolescente y no quiero que mi hijo quiera usar estos productos. Los jóvenes están expuestos a una gran cantidad de información falsa para atraerlos a temprana edad a consumir tabaco. Los adolescentes consumen cada vez más productos de tabaco, lo que conduce a la adicción y a la enfermedad en el futuro. Muchas gracias. Ahora me gustaría cederle la palabra a mi colega Lorena Flores.
Good evening, my name is Guadalupe, and I am a parent volunteer with American Track. I am also a member of Seattle. I have been a resident of Stanton for 18 years. The reason I became involved with American Track's tobacco-free workers is because for me it is important that we keep flavor-based products off the shelf. I am a mother of a teenager, and I don't want my son to want to use these products. These are exposed to a large amount of false information to attract them at an early age to consume tobacco. Teenagers are increasingly using tobacco products, which leads to addiction and disease in the future. I will turn it over to Lorena Flores.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Lorena Flores, soy madre voluntaria de American Track y también soy miembro de CIA. He sido residente en Stanton durante más de 20 años. Los miembros del grupo de trabajo American Track recopilaron encuestas de opinión pública con 613 residentes que viven en o cerca de Stanton, durante eventos comunitarios, reuniones de padres, distribución de alimentos, noches de regreso a la escuela y muchos otros eventos celebrados en Stanton. Como pueden ver, hay mucho apoyo de la comunidad para fortalecer la licencia de minorista de tabaco en Stanton. El 79% cree que es fácil para los jóvenes comprar cigarrillos mentolados y productos de tabaco. El 75% cree que es fácil para los jóvenes comprar productos de tabaco saborizados. El 91% le preocupa que el tabaco saborizado atraiga a los jóvenes y pueda aumentar el riesgo de adicción a la nicotina. El 93% de los residentes de Stanton les preocupa que los saborizantes de tabaco como el mentol enmascaren la dureza del tabaquismo. El 93% de los residentes de Stanton están a favor de una prohibición de sabores que incluya cigarrillos mentolados. El 83% de los residentes de Stanton están a favor de una tarifa de licencia local de venta de tabaco para cubrir la aplicación de esta ley. Estos son porcentajes realmente altos que muestran que mucha gente en Stanton también quiere proteger a los niños. Gracias, les doy la palabra a mi compañero José.
Good evening, my name is Lorena, and I am a parent volunteer with American Track. I am also a member of SEAC and have been a resident of Stanton for over 20 years. The work group members in American Track collected public opinion poll surveys with 613 residents living in or near Stanton. During community events, parent meetings, food distribution, back-to-school nights, and many other events held in Stanton. As you see, there is a lot of community support for strengthening Stanton's tobacco retailer license. 79% believe that it is easy for youth to buy menthol cigarette tobacco products. 75% believe that it is easy for youth to buy flavored tobacco products. 91% are worried that flavored tobacco products appeal to youth and can increase the risk of nicotine addiction. 93% of Stanton residents are worried that tobacco flavoring like menthol masks the harshness of smoking. 93% of Stanton residents are in support of a flavor ban, including menthol cigarettes. 83% of Stanton residents are in favor of a local tobacco sale license fee to cover the enforcement for this law. These are highly percentages that show you that a lot of people in Stanton want to protect this spirit. Thank you, and I would like to turn it over to Mr.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es José Enrique Gil. Soy padre voluntario de América Mutual y también soy miembro de CIA. He sido residente de Stanton durante 18 años, razón por la que me involucré con el grupo de trabajo libre de tabaco de América Mutual. Es porque he visto a muchos niños menores de edad fumando cigarrillos regulares y saborizados en las calles. Como padre, no me gustaría que mi hijo tomara un vaporizador. ¿Cuánto debe ser una ciudad limpia para que la gente nos visite y se lleve una buena impresión de nuestra ciudad? La buena noticia es que el estado de California ya ha aprobado una ley que prohíbe la venta de tabaco saborizado. Solo le pedimos a la ciudad de Stanton que fortalezca la licencia de minorista de tabaco para que podamos asegurarnos de que todos los productos no estén en nuestra ciudad. Las compañías tabacaleras son engañosas y están tratando de que nuestros menores vendan productos que dicen que no tienen sabor, pero sabemos que lo son. Los beneficios de una licencia minorista de tabaco son garantizadas y cumplimientos de las normas comerciales locales, reducir el acceso de los jóvenes a los productos de tabaco, evitar los impactos negativos en la salud pública y evitar asociados con el consumo de tabaco y hacer cumplir las leyes locales, estatales y federales de control del tabaco. Recientemente nos reunimos con el señor James Duen, director de Servicios de Seguridad Pública, que nos explicó que él y su equipo están haciendo con las tiendas de humo, están haciendo un gran trabajo, están visitando las tiendas de humo. Queremos que nuestra ciudad tenga una licencia de minoristas de tabaco más fuerte para asegurarnos que las lagunas que hemos identificado se corrijan en la ley de Stanton ahora y en el futuro. Una licencia sólida de minorista de tabaco es importante porque reducir las ventas de tabaco a los jóvenes crea igualdad de condiciones para los comerciantes, podría reducir las tasas de uso de cigarrillos y cigarros electrónicos entre los jóvenes y los adultos jóvenes. Crea consecuencias reales para los minoristas sorprendidos vendiendo tabaco a los jóvenes, proporciona recursos para ayudar a la ciudad a hacer cumplir la ley. Más de 220 jurisdicciones de California han adoptado fuertes ordenanzas de licencia para minoristas de tabaco y queremos que Stanton sea parte de esa lista. La mejor parte de nuestros reconocimientos es que constatará el dinero a la ciudad, la tarifa de licencias, el costo, y la ciudad puede solicitar una subdecisión del Departamento de Justicia una vez que tengamos actualizada esta ordenanza de venta minorista de tabaco. Estoy seguro que American Mutual estará encantado de ayudar. Muchas gracias.
Good evening, my name is Jose Luis, and I'm a volunteer here with America on Track, and I'm also a member of CIA. I have been a resident of Stanton for 18 years. The reason I became involved with America on Track's tobacco-free work group is because I have seen many underage children smoking regular and flavored cigarettes on the street. As a parent, I would not want my child to pick up a vape. Stanton must be a clean city so that people visit us and get a good impression of our city. The good news is that the state of California has recently passed a law prohibiting the sale of flavored tobacco. We are just asking the city of Stanton to strengthen its tobacco retailer license so we can make sure these products are not in our city. The tobacco companies are tricky and they are trying to get our retailers to sell products as they say, aren't flavored, but we know they are. The benefits of a tobacco retailer license are to ensure compliance with local businesses standards, reduce youth access to tobacco products, limit the negative public health and equity impacts associated with tobacco use, and enforce local, state, and federal tobacco laws. We recently met with Mr. James Friend, Public Safety Service Director, who explained to us what he and his team are doing with the smoke shop. They are doing a great job and are visiting the shop. We want our city to have stronger tobacco retailer license to make sure that the loopholes we've identified are fixed and standards filed now and for the future. A strong tobacco retailer license is important because it reduces tobacco sales to youth, creates a level playing field for merchants, may lower rates of cigarette and e-cigarette use among youth and young adults, creates real consequences for retailers caught selling tobacco to youth, provides resources to help the city enforce the law, and many more. Over 220 California jurisdictions have adopted a strong tobacco retailer license ordinance, and we want Stanton to be part of that list. The best part of our recommendation is that it will not cost the city any money. The license fee will cover the cost, and the city can apply for the Department of Justice grant. Once we have this tobacco retail ordinance updated, I'm sure American Track will be happy.
Thank you so much for your patience with the translation. If you have any questions, we're available to answer any questions or comments.
Great job.
First of all, thank you so much to all the residents that came out tonight. You guys are so organized, so data-driven. I am very impressed, and the numbers you present are very compelling. I love that you were able to survey over 600 residents. That's more than the feedback we got from a consultant that we paid a lot of money for. So good job with the grassroots efforts, and you really made this an easy decision for council. And I love all the research you've done. I love that you've already spoken to staff and know what's going on, know what we have in place, and where else we can improve. So thank you for that. Thank you so much again for everybody who lives in Stanton and voices this issue and is so passionate that you guys are all coordinated in your uniform. You prepare the boards. I love it all. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the book that you gave me. I had a chance to read it. I also appreciate the fact that you're at most of our events with your booth, and you guys do a really great outreach job. I think that's partly why there's more people involved in our community on this topic, because of the work that you and your troops and volunteers do. I did have a chance to have our attorney look through the code that you gave me, and we did find that some of the things that you had asked for are already in place in ours. And we're also in the process of going through updating a lot of our codes and a lot of our ordinances. So we'll be taking into consideration some of the points that you brought up tonight. But again, I thank you for being here. Let's give the young folks and the old folks a big hand for being here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're moving on to the consent calendar. Motions to approve the reading by title of all ordinances and resolutions. I can appear on the public agenda, can be taken by title only and waived. We have actually items 9A through 9I. Is there anything you wish to do? Anything from the public?
Mr. Mayor, we have none.
Okay, good. And so is there a motion for recommended action for items 9A to I? I'll move it. Okay, all in favor?
We need a roll call vote for this, Mr. Mayor. We have a motion by Councilmember Taylor, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Van. I will now proceed with roll call vote.
It's okay, no worries. Go ahead, let Tricia.
Council Agency Authority Member Torres.
Yes.
Council Agency Authority Member Taylor.
Yes.
Council Agency Authority Member Warren.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chairperson Van. Yes. And Mayor Chairman Shelton.
Thank you. That is the consent calendar, public hearings, 10A. To approve a resolution to receive and file a fiscal year report, 22-23, develop impact fee report and certain findings pursuant to Government Code Section 66000 ETC.
I believe would be Ms. Bannigan. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This public hearing is being held to comply with California Government Code Section 66,000 through 66,008, which were enacted by Assembly Bill 1600. This law requires the city to provide an annual report of developer impact fees collected, interest earned, and expenditures that were funded by developer impact fees during the fiscal year, and for the City Council to make some certain findings in the report. The report must be presented back to the City Council within 180 days of the end of our fiscal year. So tonight we're reviewing the annual report for fiscal year 22-23, which was made available for public inspection through the city's public notification process on November 13th. And this report summarizes the activity for the city's 4 developer impact fees: the streets impact fee, the traffic signals impact fee, the community center impact fee, and the police facilities impact fee. These fees, including the nexus study establishing what these fees can be spent on, were approved by City Council Resolution Number 2011-19 on April 12, 2011. Total developer impact fees and interest earned for all 4 fees during fiscal year 2022-23 was $23,148. No expenditures were incurred during the fiscal year. AB 1600 permits the city to retain fees up to 5 years of revenues. When the city has funds on hand that are more than the 5-year revenue test, then the city must either issue refunds to those who pay the developer impact fees, or the City Council must make a finding explaining why refunds are not due, and the city's reasoning for holding the funds. Of the city's 4 developer impact fees, 2 fees require the City Council to make such a finding, which are included in the resolution. As of June 30th, 2023, the city has accumulated $176,828 in community center impact fees and $159,775 in police facilities impact fees. That is since 2011 through 2023. Now, these fees are currently not included in the city's 7-year capital improvement plan, because these fees are not sufficient to fund the cost of a new community center or a police facility. Therefore, the city needs to continue to accumulate these funds until such a time that there is sufficient funding from these developer impact fees and other revenue sources that can be secured to provide sufficient funding for a new community center or a police facility. This report also includes revenue and expenditure information related to the city's sewer connection fees. California Government Code Section 66013 requires an annual report similar to the annual developer impact fees report be presented to the City Council. As such, staff has included this information in tonight's attachment. And the city had collected approximately $160 in sewer connection fees and interest during our recent fiscal year. These fees will be used to fund capital improvement projects for the city's sewer system. That completes my staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, I'll bring it back. Is there a motion to approve the recommended action for 10A, which is number 1, and number 2, approve resolution 2023-28? Go ahead.
We have a motion by Councilmember Warren, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Van. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor, hearing none, item passes 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Okay, unfinished business, we have approval of ordinance number 1135. This was introduced on October 24th. Would you read the title for me, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Good evening, now, Mayor and members of the City Council. The ordinance before you, ordinance number 1135, is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Stanton, California, adding section 12.08.450 to and amending sections 12.08.010 and 12.12.010 of the city's municipal code, detailing the city's administrative policy pertaining to communication. ordinance again was introduced at the meeting of November 14, 2023. The recommended action is for this evening is that City Council declare this ordinance is not subject to CEQA and adopt ordinance number 1135. That concludes staff's report. Available for any questions that you may have this evening.
Any questions? Okay, we'll be acting on recommended action number 1 and 2, and that's to adopt ordinance number 1135. Is there a motion?
I'll move it. Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Warren, a second by Councilmember Torres. I will now proceed with the roll call vote. Councilmember Torres?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember Warren?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Van? Yes. And Mayor Schaubert?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. By vote, item passes.
Okay. Item 11B, broadcasting city council meeting. Maria.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Good evening, honorable mayor and members of the city council. We have before you this evening unfinished business item, broadcasting city council meetings. At its meeting of October 11, 2022, the city council directed staff to proceed with a 12-month pilot program to live stream city council meetings on the Zoom virtual meeting platform, and to report back to the city council at the end of the pilot program with participation data. As the end of the 12-month pilot program nears, staff has gathered for city council review participation data retrieved from YouTube Analytics, as well as the city's accumulated statistical data for the time period of December 14, 2022 through November 1st, 2023. In monitoring the interactions, key metrics, and reports of the city's posted city council meeting videos, staff has been able to gauge the consumption of posted videos along with live streaming participation data. As of November 1st, 2023, there has been a total of 23 city council meetings videos posted to the city's YouTube channel. Per YouTube Analytics, the directed insight, the total number of reported views, excluding 58 views due to verification content upload views by the Office of the City Clerk myself to verify that those were posted properly and the links were working correctly, came to a total of 577 unique participants. This is an average of 25 views per video. The average view duration of uploaded rebroadcasted videos was reported as 2.68. The total amount of watch time minutes participants spent watching uploaded rebroadcasted videos was reported as 29.95 hours. This is an average of 1.3 hours per video that's posted. The City of Stanton YouTube channel has a total of 53 subscribers at the time that we searched that up. And a reported total subscriber, 2 subscribers each watched one video. Both views from each 2 subscribers were viewed in the month of January. The remaining views were by non-subscribers of the city's YouTube channel. Moving on to the city's accumulated statistical data in real-time live streaming of meetings, as I'm doing right now as people come in and track those. We have form of participation. The combined total number of participants who connected to the city's live stream via web link and telephone came to a total of 67 watchers last year. This is an average of 2.9 participants per meeting. Watch and call-in time is information gathered to monitor the arrival and departure times of each individual participant within the live stream. The average duration of a participant remaining in the live stream is reported to be 1.6 hours. The total number of minutes participants have watched and listened to the live stream reported as 7.82 hours. We also track special event items such as interviews, appointment, commissioner, committee members, award ceremonies, and budget workshops, just to see if there's an increase in interest during this subject matter that people were interested in. Also, participant information, we monitored who is attending these meetings. Is it members of the public, representatives from special districts or offices, as well as members of the press and one of our commissioners. And a notable item to discuss is Zoom bombings and ratings of insecurity. Recently, many cities throughout California have experienced the return of Zoom bombings or Zoom ratings, as they call it. Which is when a participant disrupts an online Zoom meeting with visual, video, or audio content during the city council live stream. To date, approximately 60 cities have been reported experiencing some sort of Zoom bombing. And due to these incidents, 35 of those impacted cities have reported that they have either discontinued Zoom public comments, are considering removal of Zoom public comments, and or discontinued use of Zoom as a meeting option, and are only allowing in-person or written public comments as needed. The city, during its implementation of the Zoom meeting platform during the pandemic, as well as during the 12-month pilot program, has not allowed the option for the public to provide comment virtually. we did allow the in-person as well as email your comments. Outside of any other approved requests submitted by the city council, requesting that the mayor or council member be allowed to virtually participate at a city council meeting pursuant to Assembly Bill 2449. That's the only time that we open up platform for public comment. The city has been proactive in safeguarding its live streaming meetings, utilizing Zoom security features. We have a number of those security features activated since 2020, and they've strengthened those and use those as well. However, even with the provided security features, the city's live streaming of meetings is still open to exposure and meetings being wrong, as we call it, as other live streaming cities have experienced. That staff support, the recommended actions seeking that city council finds decided not subject to CEQA, and provide input and direction to staff on the continuation of televised broadcasting to city council. Any questions? That's a lot, I think.
Just a point of cleaning up some housekeeping. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on item 10A or 11A? Okay. We did get a request on 11B. Mr. McKenna?
Correct. We have a written communication by Mr. Doug McKeno that was received and provided to the city council as well as to the public. We do not offer the option to participate via Zoom. So that's why he emailed his written comment before you this evening for your consumption, and that'll be added to the minutes.
Okay, so you can't comment on one. Correct. I'll bring it back to the group for discussion. Go ahead, Gary.
I did talk to him yesterday, and he's on it every meeting. It's since the view is good, the video that they hear isn't that good. Audio, I'm sorry, of course. The video is good, the audio is not good. I remember when I was in the hospital, I did a Zoom meeting, I think, back in January or February, something like that, and I enjoyed it. But the last time when I was ill, thank you, Mr. Mayor, with COVID, I could hear really well. It seems like it has improved, but that's saying it's not good. And the transcripts that we have online on the city website, they're hard to follow, they're hard to read. I think it's because it's audio.
Right, audio.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we do the audio and then we do video.
Gotcha.
The transcripts are the lab.
What is it cost? What's our cost of during that 12 period? How much we spend? Because we average a little over 2 people a week.
Correct.
Okay, so if that was one and he was obligated, that means only one person. So what's the cost of that?
We don't, for the Zoom meeting platform in general, it's about the $800 fee to have that program for us. So there's no cost per person.
Okay, so that being said, if we expand this, make it where we can hear and see, what's that cost?
So just to clarify, the Zoom video platform, staff does use that as well on our daily business. If the council were to direct staff to continue with broadcasting, we would recommend letting this go out to RFP and presenting a general goal of where the council would like to be, letting different vendors respond back with their best solution. We would make a point of highlighting in our RFP that the city is fiscally conservative and is looking for fiscally conservative solutions to this issue. I think the point that we've shared is that the video seems to be good, but maybe just the audio needs to be upgraded. And I know historically we had had a vendor come out, maybe affiliated with the PCT, and we got a 6-figure estimate. But I'm confident there must be a solution that is somewhere less than that. But staff is not expert in this area, so we're not comfortable estimating what it might be. But that's part of what the RFP process is for, so you can go out to market and see what solutions are out there.
Any other questions? Great, Joe.
How soon do we get the video posted up on YouTube after a meeting?
Within 24 hours.
Okay, should we following Gay on social media put up a link so that people know where to go, where they can see the YouTube video as well as they miss the Zoom.
That's certainly something that we can.
Okay, any other comments? Go ahead.
I feel like the market quality of the audio has really skewed honestly, if I were to go in the Zoom meeting and I can't hear anything, I don't know how to do that the next day. You know what I mean? So it's really about making sure that residents have access to their city council, especially because they're taxpayers those, right? And regarding the microphones, I hope it's not that expensive. This technology isn't old or anything, you know, so I hope that we get it fixed and then also advertise our council meetings on YouTube afterwards.
Okay, I was just gonna make a recommendation, but go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did want to comment that even though the report states that we have, you know, on average, more than 3 participants, we have a dozen. So it really does vary, and I think I'm pretty sure that the reason why people are not tuning in is because it's such an unpleasant experience to try and hear what's being said. It looks like we have over 500 people accessing our videos through YouTube, but they're only sticking around for 2 minutes. So that means their interest is there, but the minute they turn it on and they can't hear anything, then they leave. So I do think that the data is a little bit misleading. I do want to follow up on the suggestion that Doug wrote on his comment, that if possible, we should definitely timestamp or chapter the YouTube uploads so that it corresponds to agenda items. Because chances are when people are tuning into a video, they may not be interested in hearing a whole 2-hour-long council meeting. They might just be interested in 1 or 2 items on the agenda, and they can easily navigate it. Chapters were in place. I also think it's important that if we do have a presentation, and I've seen this over Zoom where you can see the actual PowerPoint presentation in the Zoom video or the Zoom experience, and right now it looks like all they can see is room. They don't actually get access to the presentation, which is actually really important. People knowing what's going on. So if we were to continue this, I would suggest that we do it in a way where when council can see a presentation, so can the audience. Additionally, I agree with what you said. We haven't really promoted this on our social media as we do have this option for residents to be involved and know what's going on. So I would like for us to get an RFP and figure out how much this is going to cost. PCTA seems to imply that they can do it, albeit for an initial startup cost or like infrastructure cost just to get things set up. But my understanding is they work with other cities like Westminster and Fountain Valley, and they don't charge any more on top of that. So maybe we can look at what is offered and what's available, and if there's other bids out there that can get
Right now, probably the only thing you do is better audio and maybe a second camera and stick to Zoom instead of broadcast video. Because it would make the Zoom experience good.
Yeah, I'm all for incremental and extension solutions. And then if we find that that's not adequate, we can always further improve it down the line.
I wanted to take into consideration of advertising on social media, but I would like to include that was included in the staff report to make a posting like upcoming city council, top 3 items for people to join. That's another option that we are, but I do understand that before and after.
Okay, since that was my motion, you want to go ahead and make it?
All right, I will make the motion for getting an RFP out so that we can improve the experience of everyone who wants to participate and tune into our council meetings live, improving the sound quality, having a follow-up link through social media of our YouTube or whatever way the video is being disseminated, having timestamps and chapters in the YouTube uploads that correspond to agenda items, integrating any presentation that is presented during the meeting so that folks on Zoom or who's tuning in remotely can also see that presentation. And then that's it. Thank you.
And that's probably going to necessitate a second camera.
Yeah, and whatever infrastructure facility we need to make
do you think that we're going to need an RFQ for qualifications? Because there are a lot of those good, the bad, the ugly. Do you think we'll be okay just by putting out an RFQ?
Let me look into it, and if you guys will give staff the way to utilize whichever process.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we're, because it's even a little bit of.
Well, I will say other cities are already doing an excellent job of this, so the service exists already. People are doing it all over Orange County. It's not something that.
But we want to get the right people.
Well, we need to talk to these people. Yeah. They know the lay of the land out there and who's using what, and that can help.
Okay, that being said, the recommended action was just stated. Could you read it again for us so we know what we're voting on?
Yes. So the recommended action / motion by Mayor Pro Tem Van is to get an RFP out to improve the experience for those who want to participate and tune in to city council meetings live, improving sound quality, follow up on social media to tune in, timestamps on YouTube videos, integration of PowerPoints during meetings, and whatever infrastructure facilities are needed to proceed with this push.
Okay, so,
That in total?
I'll second it.
okay,
So we have a voice votes, please bear with me. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Van and a second by Councilmember Warren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Mayor, is that a 5-0 vote?
sure.
Sir?
And just to clarify, this will take us some time. This was not part of our original work plan for the current fiscal year, but we will definitely add it to our priority list. And in the meantime, am I to assume the council would like us to continue broadcasting in the current form that we are doing? Okay,
Can
thank
we
you.
still do the PowerPoint presentation? That's an option.
We'll have to look into that.
It is an option, but at the time, while we're doing the pilot program and we're trying to do different things with one person and multiple things, it's a little bit harder to facilitate that and also monitor who's coming in and letting people into the room. You share your screen and you have that PowerPoint presentation and it blocks that. So we could be excluding people. But that's just the setup that we have right now, but it's not a possibility.
Okay, so we'll move on to 12A. This is City Council Recognition Procedures Policy for Presentation of City Proclamations and Recognition Awards.
Thank you. Good evening, honorable mayor, members of the city council. Cities, including the city of Stanton, regularly utilize proclamations, certificates, and other forms of acknowledgement to recognize individuals, groups, and events of significance that directly impact and benefit the local community. The city's current practice upon receipt of a request is to submit it to the city clerk's office for review. If the request is consistent with past practice, meaning the city has issued a similar recognition in the immediate past, request is approved and processed. If the city clerk's office determines the request has no historical precedent, the request is forwarded to both the mayor and mayor pro tem for review and consideration. Additionally, historically, the mayor has been afforded the opportunity to unilaterally authorize recognition items independent of any other review. Based on the increasing number of requests received by staff and the council, as well as members of the public, staff determined it would be prudent to develop and adopt a policy to promote consistency and transparency in the selection and authorization of requests for recognition. Staff developed the proposed policy based upon a survey of existing policies utilized by cities throughout the state, as well as regionally within Orange County. The provisions of the proposed policy include memorializing that recognition is from the council as a body and not from an individual member, discouraging the recognition of items related to religious or partisan purposes, focusing recognition items on local, county, or state issues that positively impact the Stanton community and convey an affirmative message to Stanton residents, establishing a review process for items not clearly consistent with the policy will take place at a council meeting before the entire council, requiring all requests for recognition to be submitted no later than 14 days from the desired recognition date. The policy in its complete form is attached as an exhibit to the staff report. That concludes my report, and staff is available to answer any questions.
Any questions? Go ahead, Alex.
I did want to ask if it would be possible for us to change a couple of wordings in policy. notably on page 353, where it talks about issuing a recognition or proclamation issue in a language other than English. And on the very last paragraph on page 353, it says, with the exception of a foreign language recognizing any national heritage month or day, and I'd like to change that to word national to cultural, because I believe that there are many instances where a heritage month or day is international or involves multiple countries. And so if we can make it cultural, that could be like a Pan Latino Heritage Month or whatever, and it wouldn't be so restricted. I did want to request that. Additionally, I noticed that there was an opportunity for anyone who is 100 years old to get a certificate, and I'd like to see our city be more proactive in making that opportunity available to the public. Have to publicize it, have some online form, where if you or your neighbor or somebody you know in your community is going to reach 100, I want you to proactively let us know so that we can give the person certificate. I don't think we have a database. Who's turning 100, and I don't want to get acknowledged for that milestone.
I think those certificates should be large print.
Yes, I like that.
Okay, any other questions? All right, so, we're gonna go back to and highlight the final points of what we're doing. So pay attention, please.
So I'll walk you through the points of the policy. It's attached online if anybody is following along. So the purpose of the policy is to establish consistent criteria and procedures for official city council recognition of individuals, groups, and or events of significance that directly impact and benefit the city of Stanton and its residents by issuance of certificates of recognition and proclamation. The policy statement reads as follows. It is the policy of the city of Stanton to recognize noteworthy contributions and achievements of individuals and organizations through accommodation, proclamation, certificate, city tile, or other recognition designation in accordance with the criteria contained in this policy. This policy discourages the city of Stanton from supporting, promoting, or otherwise making endorsements for any religious purposes or partisan purposes. Certificates of recognition and proclamations are not statements of policy or individual viewpoints, support, or affiliation. Recognitions from the city council as a body and not from an individual member. Requests may be initiated by the mayor or a council member, community member, or organization are submitted to the city clerk. Requests by members of the public must be in writing, addressed to the office of the city clerk. Only proclamations dealing with local, county, state issues, or those that positively impact the Stanton community and convey an affirmative message to Stanton residents will be considered and are issued in the city's sole and absolute discretion. If a request for recognition is consistent with any of the requested categories described in Exhibit A, the city clerk will issue such recognition or proclamation. If a request for a certificate of recognition is not clearly consistent with any of the requested categories described in Exhibit A, the city clerk shall calendar an item for city council consideration at the next available city council meeting. No certificate of recognition or proclamation shall be issued in any language other than English, with the exception of a foreign language recognizing any cultural heritage month or day. Timing of requests. Requests for recognition must be received by the office of the city clerk no later than 14 days from the scheduled event or recognition date. If a request for recognition is not clearly consistent with any of the requested categories, the request may be fulfilled after the desired date, depending upon council direction. Then it also gives specifics on the actual logistics of how we present it, whether it's in a jacket or a frame, also where we present it. And then Exhibit A has guidelines for specific types of recognition awards, including certificates of recognition, proclamations, city lapel pins. The various categories include personal accomplishments, including athletic or academic accomplishments, acts of heroism, Girl Scout and Boy Scout accomplishments, 100th birthdays of Stanton residents, employee retirements, employee recognition, volunteer recognition, and Stanton business recognition events. Significant events are categorized as community events, anniversaries of businesses and churches, meetings in memoriam, regional events, ethnic celebrations and religious observances, and public officials, outgoing commissioners and committee members, outgoing city elected officials, sponsorships, recognition of individual or nonprofit organizations' contributions, and recognition of corporate support.
make a motion.
I'll second it. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
We have a motion by Councilmember Warren, a second by Mayor Schaubert. Now proceed with the voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, item passes, including the change for national.
Okay, we're moving on to oral communication, item number 13. And we have Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. You may step up to the podium. We ask that you just state your name and you do have 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'm Steve Freeman. I have a business on 2 sides of the street on Monroe Avenue. And kind of thinking it's becoming the Daytona 500. The traffic speeding is just totally out of control right now. And I've addressed this with Jim Wren, our honorable mayor as well, and a few other people there. And I'd like to get something done about it once and for all. I don't know what to do. I'll leave that up to the city. The other thing is we have parking issues because of the dispensaries, one in particular. They're not parking on their property when they should be. I'm talking about the employees. And they're parking in front of fire hydrants. They block 2 driveways. And it's mostly an industrial area. Some of us have semis and large flatbeds. It's become a real problem. And as I was departing to come to the meeting tonight, I showed Jim a picture I snapped of a guy who just parked his car there, left his lights on, walked into the dispensary, okay, in a red zone in front of the fire hydrant. And there was other parking widely available right near that particular dispensary. So I don't know what to do about it. Saying, please do whatever you can and let's get it safe. I've had people make left turns, I'm sorry, when I'm signaling to go into my business, which is perfectly legal. I've had people pass me on the left at a high rate of speed. That street is just, it's a nightmare. But thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to, for those of you that put in speaker requests with specific agenda items, we'll be calling you up on that particular item so that you'll have a chance to your 3 minutes. So please bear with us, we're almost there. Okay, moving on to written communication, let me close public hearing. We haven't received any other correspondence, right?
Mr. Mayor, we have none.
Okay, great. Written communications, we have none. Initiated business by anyone. Oh, boy.
So, I have a announcement.
No, you're right, go ahead.
Okay, so I did want to announce that today we had the grand opening of the Panda Cares Center of Hope at the Boys and Girls Club. They had a very generous donation from Panda Express, and now they're able to renovate the learning center and have better facilities for youth. And I think with the Ant Lions Club, they were also able to get 10 computers for kids to use. That was very exciting. And additionally, we had just today our Adopt a Tree feature event at Home Depot. Thank you so much, Adopt a Tree, for always sponsoring BTS families.
We had the grand opening, well, the pre-grand opening of the Family Resource Center. And the staff's done a wonderful job. I mean, it really looked good. I mean, the counters are all nice now and screen painted. And they're gonna get to work on the playground next. So we're looking forward to that. And we had a really good turnout for that. Congressman Lou Correa came by. We had several council people there. It was just a good day for all.
You redid the floors.
Yes, they did. Probably the ceilings.
Not needed the ceilings.
Oh, there you go.
I want to thank the council again for supporting our food drive. We're probably the only city that's still doing it. And so I want to let you know that we set a record. I thought we'd never do it, but Thanksgiving giveaway, we had 1,300 cards. Now, if you want to know how long that is, if you start out on Beach, you come down here and cut right in front of City Hall, go down Western, all the way, down Quintella, all the way down Western, and Chapman to Home Depot. We fed about 5,000 people, so it was a biggie. We're gonna try to break the record at Christmas. So, Donald, I want you to help us give out toys this year.
I'll start with the resolution.
Okay. And of course, we all know that Harry's Cafe was a biggie this year. We fed over 3,000 dinners, so it worked out really well. We took care of the first responders, just people walking in off the street, people that wanted to have a chance to come in out of the cold, have a talk with, chat with somebody. So you should be very proud because the television stations covered it, and we were able to put Stanton on the map. I think that's one of the most important things, is that our community shows the kindness that we show and the help that we give to people, not only in Stanton, but our surrounding communities, because we don't turn anybody away. So again, I want to thank you all for your support on all of those. Now, I know that some of you like to be in the turkey picture. We are reshooting the turkey picture tomorrow at 8 o'clock at Harry's Cafe, right down here on Dale and Catella. And breakfast is on you. So I'll pass it up. Thank you. Is there any other announcements? Okay, anything for a future meeting? Go ahead.
I felt so compelled by the American Track presentation, but I'd like to agendize strengthening the tobacco retail license process, including possible loophole, and strengthening our ordinance to protect youth from tobacco products.
I think I brought this to you the last time I had a meeting with that lady, and we did a really in-depth review of that. We found that most of the things that they were asking for, we already have written in, is that correct? And also that we do parallel with state requirements, right?
Mayor and Council, I did take a cursory look at that ordinance, that it is pretty comprehensive. I noticed their slides did do a comparison about, what's in the sand ordinance and what is in the model ordinance. We haven't analyzed that, or verified that, but when I initially took a look, it does have an I can't attest to what was in their slides.
It was, we actually did probably more than the state asked us to do. And so that's why I was very satisfied with it. And there was I let people know about that. In fact, she was surprised because some of the things she asked for, she didn't find that she found that we showed it. So what would you like?
I'd like to take a look at the ordinance, because what she showed us versus what she felt was the model ordinance, there's something with that. So I do want to explore that and see whether or not that is the case. If we do include tobacco retailers as anyone who sells tobacco, not just someone who sells at least 50% of their profit price as tobacco, that we do include the definition of flavored tobacco, that we do charge an adequate fee for enforcement. That way we're not eating the cost of enforcement, and that the retailers are paying for that cost, and that we do have frequency, monitoring frequency in place, that these shops are being monitored. Yeah, just, I think those points are the ones that are, we have that already done, that's great, but I want to make sure.
Okay, Jim, could you give us an update on some of the successes that we had, please?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, related to the smoking. So one of the things requested by the group is that we conduct compliance checks twice a year. We actually conduct them every 2 months. The strength of our ordinance is starting to come through. We have completed our most recent round of compliance checks, and we actually have this week we're issuing first notices to 3 locations. The way that our ordinance is written, 2 failed inspections can result in revocation of the business license. So that's actually pretty on the extremely firm side in terms of how we choose to address that. So I really do think we're in pretty good shape there. A lot of the folks, as we've transitioned with the new laws, have been compliant, trying to figure out how to essentially survive. One of the main issues that we're running into is actually a loophole at the state level. I would defer to Dow's group to see if we can do anything about this, but specifically related to the flavored nicotine products that are put into the vapes, what companies are doing is actually separating the nicotine from the flavor. So you buy a flavored cartridge and a nicotine cartridge, and there's not anything that we can do about that from a legislative standpoint. So they essentially will sell the two elements of it separately, and then it's up to the individual to combine them. I can speak to the vast majority of the tobacco retailers in town acting in good faith, and that those who haven't did receive or are in the process of receiving notices that indicate that they have a first failed inspection.
We charge an application fee for enforcement and speeding as possible.
So we have the business license fee, but as far as the inspection fee related specifically to the tobacco shops, we do not. It's not overly time intensive. So it's something, I mean, there's obviously something we could always analyze, but it's not something considering the number that we have in town and addressing them twice a month, we're not spending an exorbitant amount of time in those locations. Places like smoke shops, or, yeah, so we're looking at, we have 9. Some of them, obviously, they vary in different styles. So the issue is whether you're addressing smoke shops, and then as the issue expands, you go into liquor stores, you go into major retailers. My understanding is that there's a number of legal issues as the higher up the chain you go as far as the size of those retailers. So our ordinance actually predated the flavored tobacco ban, so it is specifically focused on smoke shops.
Also, the ABC has a role in that too.
ABC has a role particularly on, obviously on the liquor store side. But they can do, part of their overall protocols is making sure that everything in what you would refer to as quote unquote liquor store is compliant, and then the flavored tobacco is part of it.
So do we need a chief's clearance to let that to you then? Okay. I will go on to item number 15D. This is related to, ahead, that's yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have item 15D, which is City Council initiated item, discussion regarding campaign contributions and the Lean Act of AB 1439. At the November 14, 2023 City Council meeting, Councilmember Taylor requested that this item be agendized for discussion. Councilmember Taylor is requesting to discuss and conducting a review to campaign contributions and the Lean Act, and to discuss options that the city may review in regards to setting a city-specific Lean Act policy. Mr. Taylor.
Okay, before we do that, we do have a public comment, and that's from
We did receive a written communication by Mr. Doug McKeano.
Yeah, from Doug McKeano. So, you do that, right?
That will go into the record, correct?
Okay, good. So that, is there anybody else who would like to speak on item 15D?
That's 15D.
Okay, go ahead, Gary, you're up.
The idea on this is that when the legislature passed a law, the Lean Act, it's really kind of set up for all cities, and we're a very small city, and apparently we do have some powers where we can maybe reduce some of the numbers and things. It's something we can take a look at and decide as a council whether we want to change it, keep it the same as the state and the larger cities, or maybe we want to something to look at.
Okay, I just want, I know campaign law pretty well. One of the things is when you go, if you go below with the state sets a pretty good level. I think it's $5,900 right now. It used to be 49, now it's 5,900. One of the things you have to realize, even though we're a small city, is that they're called PACs, okay? A PAC can come in and spend unlimited amount of money in your city, and they have no limit. So if you're an individual that's fighting a cause, say like, I want to have sin sales tax, or some of the other things that we fought so hard with, if you limit the amount of money that individuals can put into that, then you're taking away and giving the advantage to the PACs. As an example, Carol and I really had a lot of fun with the Measure M, or with the Measure QQ. Yeah, QQ. They spent almost $250,000 against us.
That was the Corcution.
And if we had not the ability to raise, at that time, a limited amount of money, we never would have been able to carry out the campaign that we did. So there's a lot of other variables in it. So just thought I'd throw that out to you.
Talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that, you know, right now with the current laws that we have, there's no way that any council member can pass. Just keep that out.
3-1.
Okay. Well, that was when the laws were different, right?
No.
No, what was the limit back then?
There's no limit for a PAC. A PAC can
No,
come.
I know, but I'm talking about the council.
Right now, our limit's 59.
Right, so what I'm saying is that no single council member could outspend the PAC. It's just like impossible.
Maybe. You know, I don't really care one way or the other. I'm just telling you that if you limit it to $300, they're still going to get the money from the tax if they want. So it's kind of a new point. The state, the state actually came up with that figure because it was something equitable for the entire state. That's why they had that. But it's only that particular amount is specific to local government.
Well, like City of Los Angeles versus the cities in. That's something I think we can at least talk about. I mean, if the council wants to keep it that way, that's fine. I just like to get this agendized and talked about and have a presentation so we understand what the law is and everything.
Okay, well, I'll be honest. No, I'm happy. I'm just happy with the PACs doing what they do. I'm happy with the amount of money that I can raise to fight a PAC. Go ahead, Alice.
I did want to say that there is also another way to look at this, is disclosure and transparency. We can't control how much PACs spend, it's their First Amendment right. However, we can control whether or not we publicize that data, so that everybody knows that this candidate had $200,000 spent by this PAC. So we can at least make those disclosure forms easily accessible to everybody, so that everyone knows who's being backed up by who, who's taking money from what organization, or what corporate interest, or anything. So I think that's something we can definitely strengthen, so that there's more transparency, there's more accountability, and everybody knows which person is taking money from which.
So we have that on our.
I don't think it covers PACs though. It only covers Form 400, 460.
Alice, that's available online with this push button.
Yeah. I think it's really hard for an average resident to navigate complicated state websites, and we could potentially consider putting that on our own local website, like IDs or PAC money that goes into our elections. Perhaps we can make that easily accessible to residents. Additionally, this transparency, I think, will hold everyone more accountable and will make the public more informed about who they're voting for and who do their elected serve. Additionally, I agree with you, Gary, that Councilmember Taylor, that there's a lot of room for us to improve what we are currently doing. I know that there are nonprofits in our neighboring communities that whose job and purpose is to look at campaign finance, campaign reform, things like that. And I think there's an opportunity for us to invite subject matter experts to come and talk to us about what best practices are and what they would suggest our council can consider implementing to make sure that everyone here serves the best interest of our residents and our not just the.
there could be, for like measures that we're trying to put through, they could have different limits than an individual person running for office. So maybe there's a whole tier level.
And I will say that there are many cities in Orange County, and I think about 80% of the cities in San Diego County that enforce a city limit even more strictly than the state limit. So it is not unusual for cities to implement a stricter contribution limit for themselves than what
We did a good job because I raised $75,000 for the measure and the heat. You know, if we want to. Yeah, well, we can have a great discussion on it.
That's okay.
Okay, cool.
There wasn't a limit. Yeah.
So, what's your wish, Gary?
What's your
Gary, what do you want to do?
I'd like to have a vote on this.
Okay, but you gotta tell us what we're voting on.
Let's see, 15D, I'd like to have a meeting, agendized to talk about, what the campaign law is now and what options we have as a city to maybe tighten up on.
I'm not checking out.
And we can definitely reach out to local nonprofits that advise cities or something like that, that's fine.
What was that last one?
Said nonprofits to come and educate us about possible laws.
Why don't we leave it up to staff as to who comes and educates us? Yeah.
I will say that there's a specific nonprofit called Citizens Take Action, and they actually create a report card. And they rank every single city in Orange County where they stand on contributions and finances. So I would suggest that would be a possible organization to invite.
Be happy with that.
So just for clarification for staff, because it is a legal issue, we would rely upon the city attorney. And then I'm hearing from a member of the council that would like.
Citizens Take Action. Citizens Take Action.
Clerk, is there a motion?
I have a motion by Councilmember Stewart. A second by Councilmember Flores. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Schopper, any opposed? Hearing none, I received city council consensus staff to proceed with staff consideration. Item contributions.
Okay, we're moving on to item 15E, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, we have before you item 15E, City Council initiated item discussion regarding creation of a resolution in support of the Palestinian people of Gaza. At the November 14, 2023 City Council meeting, Councilmember Torres requested that this item be agendized for discussion. Councilmember Torres is requesting to discuss the creation of a resolution in support of the Palestinian people of Gaza, call for a ceasefire in Israel and occupied Palestine, and that the resolution contain a summary of the conditions of the conflict. Presentation, Councilmember Torres.
Thank you.
Nobody here from the public, please.
I think we can give the opportunity for him to present his presentation first, and then we'll open up to public comment.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank
are
you.
we okay? Go ahead.
Thank you. Just as our wonderful city clerk mentioned, this is a resolution in support of the Palestinian people of Gaza. The resolution that I want to propose is one that was passed by the city of Cudahy, calling for an immediate de-escalation and ceasefire in Israel and occupied Palestine. This resolution will show support for the people of Palestine and stand in solidarity with them. Additionally, this resolution will cover the conditions of the Palestinian people. For example, in that resolution, there is one data point that says that 60% of Palestinian children are in need. Right. So this not only is this resolution very descriptive about the conditions of the Palestinian people, but I think it also calls for a ceasefire, which is the most important aspect of this. Additionally, I know that the UN has passed a resolution calling for an immediate and sustained humanitarian truce, and it specifically calls for a continuous, sufficient, and unhindered provision of life-saving supplies. Right now, currently, it is very hard for the Palestinian people to get supplies. So it makes it very hard for them to get medical aid, food, or even out of an area that is constantly being
Okay, so, the speakers on this particular item are gonna be called up individually by our city clerk. You're gonna be given 3 minutes. Please don't be redundant, but you do have your 3 minutes to speak, okay? Right now, we're looking at about an hour. So to get an idea, and we're happy to hear from everyone. So that being said, Patricia, here you go. And you're the official timekeeper.
Again, as Amir said, we do give each speaker the allotted time of 3 minutes, and at that time of 3 minutes is that the speaker will end, and we would ask that you please return to your seat, and we'll call the next speaker to the podium. So at this time, I'd like to invite Omar. Omar? Don't want to say it wrong, so it's Curry.
Yes. Good evening, council members. Thank you, Councilmember Torres, for proposing this resolution. My name is Omar Curry. I'm here today to ask you to support the ceasefire resolution. Since October the 7th, Israel has been waging a brutal military campaign against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. According to the Euromed Human Rights Monitor, this war has resulted in the deaths of nearly 20,000 Palestinians, over 8,000 of whom are children, 4,000 are women. For perspective, as of October the 27th, more children have been killed in Gaza than all children killed in war zones on the planet Earth, including Ukraine, in the years 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 combined. The Israeli army itself estimates that it has killed between 1,000 and 2,000 Hamas militants. At best, that means for every 1 or 2 Hamas members, Israel kills 20 civilians, mostly women and children. Israel has targeted hospitals. According to the World Health Organization, as of November the 12th, at least 521 people have been killed in 137 separate attacks on healthcare facilities, healthcare workers, in 137 attacks on healthcare facilities in Gaza. Israel has targeted schools, including on November the 18th, the Al Fahura school, where 7,000 people were sheltering, 24 civilians were killed. Israel has destroyed nearly 100 houses of worship, including 88 mosques and the Greek Orthodox St. Porphyrius Church. Israel has killed more than 102 UN aid workers, more than it has killed senior Hamas militants. In 7 weeks, Israel has killed 70 journalists in Gaza, more journalists than all 20 years of the Vietnam War by both sides, and in all 6 years of World War II by both sides. None of this would be possible without the unconditional support of our government. Our government provides Israel the bombs and the bullets that it uses to kill so many innocent men, women, and children. It's for that reason that we have a moral obligation to do everything we can to stop this bloodshed. Every day this war drags on is another day in which hundreds of Palestinians, mostly children and women, are killed. Imagine had this ceasefire been in place weeks ago, how many thousands of lives would have been saved. So for that reason, I'm asking and I'm imploring you all to support this ceasefire resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. Our next speaker is Fernando Delgado.
Good evening, Council. My name is Fernando Delgado, and I'm here to speak in support of the proposed resolution in support of the Palestinian people of Gaza. not personally a resident of the city of Stanton. I'm a resident of the city of Santana, sister city of Santana, where next week we will also be considering a resolution in support of the Palestinian people. I want to just reiterate some of the points that were made by the previous speaker. The families in Gaza are currently living through what I would call a nightmare. As the state of Israel, with the full backing of our own government here at home, continues to drop bombs indiscriminately on innocent Palestinian civilians, turning Gaza into a killing field. Over the course of the last 52 days, the Israeli government, with the backing of our own government here at home, and I want to reiterate that because sometimes people wonder, why are you at a city council meeting here in Orange County when there's something going on across the globe? Our government here is backing all of this. They've killed more than 20,000 people, 8,000 of them children. The median age in Gaza is 18 years old. We're one of the youngest populations in the world. The Israeli government, under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu, has explicitly stated their goals of turning Gaza into a parking lot. Other Israeli officials have labeled all Palestinian people as terrorists and human animals, dehumanizing language that is used to justify the brutal crimes against humanity being committed by the state of Israel. The United Nations, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and other human rights organizations, including the Israeli-based organization B'Tselem, have all released various reports accusing Israel of war crimes and urging the international community to support an immediate ceasefire to bring an end to the brutal and shameful massacre of the Palestinian people. Now, again, we understand that as a city council member, you're prioritizing the needs of your residents here in the city of Stanton, of course. And again, you may be wondering, like, what is the purpose of having you guys pass a resolution to support something like this? But in my view, in dire times like this, when we're all witnessing these kinds of atrocities being committed on our watch, on our dollar, our tax dollars, it's imperative for all officials, from city council all the way up to Senate, to speak out and let them know that we as a country, we as a people do not stand for this. Bombing in Gaza right now has temporarily stopped. But if you want to know what the intentions are after this temporary truce is, all you have to do is listen to the Israeli defense minister, who said, the enemy will meet first the bombs of the Air Force, and after the shells of the tanks and the artillery, and finally gunfire of infantry troops, who will fight in the entire strip. This resolution is not going to end the conflict, but it will make a significant stance here in Orange County, that there are politicians, there are elected officials who are willing to stand up against brutal crimes against humanity. So again, I urge you all to support this resolution. Thank you.
Our next one is Maha.
Good evening. First of all, you are the nicest city council I've ever been to. Thank you so much. I'm serious. To you, Council Member Torres, I have to say thank you for your courage. Thank you for having the integrity of putting this resolution on the agenda when people are scared to death of retaliation. When I am an educator at a college, and we are being silenced. So thank you, I will never forget you. To all of you, it is not complicated. There is no room for neutrality on this issue. You are either with the oppressed or with the oppressor. You have to make a choice. You are either pro-carpet bombing and mowing the lawn, and this is Zionist terminology that I'm using, or you see the Palestinians as human beings. How many innocent Palestinians have to die until we all, well, we're paying attention, until this country and Western European countries pay attention? These people are not terrorists. They are terrorized. They live in a concentration camp. They bleed the same colored blood as you. So the question is, I mean, the ceasefire, to be honest, as Fernando said, is seriously a temporary band-aid. But give them a chance. This is the minimum you can do when the United States, this country, is providing money and weapons to kill Palestinians mercilessly and justifying it on media, on regular media. So are you going to make the decision as to have the blood of Palestinians on your hands? Or are you going to stand up for humanity, integrity, and truth? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ash. Basha.
Oh. Good evening. My name is Basha Jamil. I am the policy manager at the Council on American Islamic Relations. Our office is based in Anaheim. I want to first thank the City of Stanton for having the moral courage to introduce this resolution. Thank you for showing true leadership and standing for humanity. As others have said, the situation in Gaza is dire. 20,000 innocent people killed, 8,000 children. There is no escape from Israel's constant and indiscriminate bombing of hospitals, churches, mosques, schools, even refugee camps. Thousands of bodies remain under the rubble, and many more are facing death by starvation. This is more than a humanitarian crisis. It's an absolute catastrophe. Innocent men, women, and children are targeted with chemical weapons like white phosphorus. These are war crimes. Collective punishment is a war crime. I want to emphasize that this is not a religious issue. It's not an issue about Muslims versus Jews. As so many of our brave Jewish brothers and sisters have been saying over and over again, never again means never again for all people. We're watching a genocide unfold right before our eyes. The City of Stanton cannot be complicit with this through silence. I urge you to pass this resolution. We must be doing everything we can to end the bloodshed, and that is nothing short of a permanent ceasefire. Not a pause, a ceasefire. This endless massacre is affecting all of us here at home too. Entire families have been wiped out completely in Gaza, and countless people here in Orange County have lost family members. KRLA has seen an increase in hate crimes against Palestinians and Muslims increase by over 300% in the last month alone, all fueled by the dehumanization of Arabs and Muslims. These last nearly 2 months have been nothing short of traumatic for our community. We are tired of being dehumanized and seen as terrorists. I call on the City of Stanton to pass the ceasefire resolution as soon as possible. Please bring the resolution to a vote on this urgent matter. A ceasefire cannot wait. Thank you.
Our next person is Emma. Is that how you say it?
Hello, my name is Aya. I'm program manager at the Arab American Pacific Council, where our office is located in Anaheim. Good evening to you guys. Thank you so much for taking the leadership on this, Torres, and introducing this to the agenda. I implore you council members to join other cities in calling Congress to demand a permanent ceasefire. By calling a ceasefire, you can help prevent further loss of life, provide vital humanitarian aid to those affected in the conflict. As taxpayers, $3.5 billion a year go to fund Israel and their crimes against humanity. That's $10 million a day. We could use that money in our communities. We can use that in Orange County, in LA, all over California. So it's our moral obligation and our responsibility to advocate for peace and the protection of civilians, regardless of their nationality or religion or background. UN experts have warned that the failure to urgently implement a ceasefire risks the situation spiraling towards a genocide conducting with 21st century means and methods. They highlighted evidence of increasing genocidal incitements and overt intent to destroy the Palestinian people under occupation. The Euromed Human Rights Monitor has called for official recognition of Israel's action in Gaza as genocide, citing the significant numbers of Palestinians killed and injured, including a high proportion of children of 8,000. They emphasized the immense psychological harm to Gaza's surviving population, particularly traumatized children. Please join other city members and members of Congress in demanding a ceasefire and ensure the safety and security of civilians in the Gaza Strip to deliver humanitarian aid to those desperate in need. We are now aware more than ever of the humanitarian crisis that's been ongoing long before October 7th, and 20,000 civilians have been murdered with bombs dropped on their head while they sleep. So I urge you to see the humanity in the Palestinian people, and please, the urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. So I respectfully urge the council to take a humanitarian approach and stand on the right side of history by demanding our government call for a ceasefire. Your support will send a powerful message of compassion and justice. I implore you to consider the immense suffering of the Palestinians and to act with empathy and urgency. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Our next speaker to the podium is Mahmoud.
My name is Mahmoud. My father is from Anaheim. My grandmother is a 1948 refugee from the massacre from Israel against Palestine. And the massacre is going, and it's not new. That's happening right now in Gaza. Since the creation of the Zionist state till now, the massacre every year. We see Palestinian people get killed, and in front of our eyes, and in front of my father and grandfather's eyes, with our taxpayer money, with only U.S. support. Without U.S. support, Israel was not going to do something similar. So I would like to thank you that you added this resolution to your agenda, and yeah, I can bring up the list of massacre, but the council members said I don't want to be repeating everything. So I would like to thank you that you added this to your agenda, and I urge you to support both.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mirvet. Please come forward and state your name.
Okay, Nadia. Thank you so much. Thank you, council members, and thank you, Councilmember Torres, for your forward vision and visionary step in actually putting this resolution. And I urge the rest of this council to please do not delay the vote, and please do this as soon as possible. Each day that goes by, hundreds more are at risk of being killed in their homes while they're asleep. I thought about what I'd like to talk to this council about. I can tell you that my niece and nephew are Palestinian, that I, along with others, have been going through the Gaza Ministry of Health records of the dead to find out if our Palestinian loved ones are the last living of their family, that my friends found out that every living family member of their family, except for one child, were killed in a bombing, that hundreds of families have been exterminated with no living person left in their line, according to the Gaza Health Ministry records. That it is unacceptable that it happened to Jews in Europe, and it is unacceptable that it is happening today to Palestinians. Of all of these personal stories, I don't know what is effective for you to hear, but I hope tonight, by hearing us, you were able to humanize this and not turn a blind eye. We want funding to go to education, healthcare, infrastructure, here at home, rather than fund a foreign military that commits routine night arrests of children and holds them indefinitely without charge, a legal practice that we would not stand for here. A foreign military that targets and bombs hospitals, schools, journalists, and destroys hundreds of residential buildings in neighborhoods, leaving hundreds of children taking their last breath under rubble. This is unacceptable for me, and I would hope it is unacceptable to you, and you will join the hundreds of residents who simply are asking you to resolve the same. It is a clear stance on the right side of history, where we can take politics out of it and work together towards peace against the ongoing genocide. This is using taxpayer funds if we do not make a statement to call for a ceasefire, that I would rather have those taxpayer funds that would be fueling this conflict and genocide, or any type of violence. I would rather have those funds go to SCIF instead of funding genocide, occupation, and apartheid and genocide. Tens of cities across the country are considering ceasefire resolutions this week. The cities of Oakland, Richmond, Fayette, Seattle, Atlanta, Detroit, Akron, Providence, and Wilmington have already passed ceasefire resolutions. Stanton can live up to the community pride and forward vision that you are, and I ask you to be forward-thinking and visionary in joining these cities to pass, and do not delay a vote, and unanimously pass a resolution for a ceasefire. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Pani. Thank you so much for the opportunity for allowing us to be here today to talk about this really traumatic issue for a lot of us in our community and those in solidarity. I want to take the time to thank you, Councilmember Donald Torres, for putting this on the agenda for discussion, and all of you that supported it. And thank you for all of you. I know this is difficult to hear. I know it's not easy, and you've, like Fernando said previously, you're probably wondering, well, why are you coming to us? Like, what can Stanton do? You can do a lot. You can start that ripple that can create that wave, that can create the change and, save thousands and thousands of lives. I'm a Palestinian American. I have a mother of 3 children. And as someone had pointed out, the hate against Palestinians is just astronomical. And Muslims is totally separate hate, so it's anti-Palestinian Islamophobia. And a lot of it is because of the dehumanization of Palestinians. We are watching a genocide and a cleansing on the world stage. I've tried to shelter my children from it, I can't. It's everywhere. My 11-year-old child, who's sitting with us here in the audience, my youngest, often tells me, Mom, do we matter? There's only one other time she's told me that, and that was, there was a resolution regarding Muslim ban, and she's like, who hate all Muslims? Well, now she's asking me, who hate all Palestinians? I'm asking you, I'm speaking to you as a mother, as a human being, as a citizen of this country, to please stop, to send this resolution, sign this resolution as soon as you can, take it from discussion and actualize it to a resolution, so that you can send the message that it's not okay to use our money that we could use to take homeless people off the streets, to improve our public schools, to give health care for everyone, to improve our colleges, to improve our infrastructure, and make sure that there's affordable housing for everyone. As somebody mentioned here today, $10 million a day are going to fund murder. That's not including the $14.3 billion emergency bill that they're asking for. Where is that money more appropriated? Here or over there? We as Palestinians, as Arabs, as Muslims, as MENA community, as those in solidarity, even the Jewish community, as saying not weaponize our pain, are saying it's enough. We're asking you to please send a message that we matter. We feel like we don't matter. We don't feel like we're seen. We have begged our Congress members to listen to us. It's like saying ceasefire is almost like perceived as something radical. 1.73 million people are displaced. That is 80% of the population. Self-defense or genocide, ethnic cleansing. 60% of Gaza gone. Self-defense or genocide. Please pass resolution. I apologize for extending my time. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Aya. Shadow?
My daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter, she's at a basketball game, so can I put it again? Yeah, we were.
I'll put her
Jana speaking as in conjunction with.
In the end, yeah. She's here, the little one is here.
Rashad?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and city council members. My name is Rashad Al-Dabak, and I'm the Executive Director of the Arab American Civic Council. We're based next door in Anaheim, Little Arabia. First, I would like to thank you for introducing a resolution to call for a ceasefire in Gaza to stop the killing. This demonstrates your commitment to peace and human rights for all. I'm Palestinian American. My father was born in Gaza. My family was forced out of their home in 1948. I didn't know that I still had relatives in Gaza until 4 weeks ago, when I received a WhatsApp message that included the names of people who were killed, including 3 distant cousins of mine who I didn't even know existed. This is happening to many of our families here in Orange County who have relatives in Palestine and Gaza and are suffering. To date, many people said 20,000 people have already been killed. 70% of them are women and children. The majority of the 2 million plus people in Gaza have been displaced internally. We know how welcoming the city of Stanton has been to refugee families. Let's show them that Stanton cares about the safety and security of refugee families by passing this pro-peace resolution. We have many residents in Stanton who are hurting right now. They are directly impacted because they have relatives and family members in Palestine. Let Stanton be the leading Orange County city to do the right thing. I know that many others are going to follow. I strongly urge you to support the proposed resolution to call for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Salma.
Hello, my name is Selma and I'm 11 years old. First thing I want to do is thank you for being brave and considering the legislation that I have stopped bombing people out. As a child, I feel scared to tell people I'm Palestinian because there's so much hate. I feel so sad that what I've learned is Palestinian children don't matter. Because if they did, how could our government and how could Israel kill over 8,000 children while everybody's watching? My mom says that eventually everything is going to be okay. But honestly, I cry myself to sleep. I feel like the Israeli army is never going to stop. My mom told me that your resolution won't necessarily stop anything today, but it will start a movement for change and encourage our leaders to stop funding genocide and finally show us that all lives matter, not just Israeli. I know I'm only 11 and I can't vote, but I can see, I can hear, and I will remember. Because this isn't a genocide I will read about. This is one me and my family launched live. We will never forget. Please start healing and save children in Gaza and everywhere by voting yes for ceasefire. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Samar?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for putting this resolution on the agenda. Thank you, for doing that. I really appreciate it. I am the founder and executive director for Sepia USA. We are a nonprofit organization based right next door, Santa Ana. We support a lot of refugees right here from Santa Ana, a lot of Vietnamese refugees and Arab refugees to be able to help them with housing, mental health assistance, and food disparity. So I know firsthand of refugees and how traumatic that experience is. A little bit about a background for me. 1967, I remember the Israeli-Egyptian was and how devastating, and the noises and bombs going off. And till now, years later, since I was a little girl, I can still feel it. Having displaced 2.7 million Gazans in the lower part of Gaza and having Israel saying we're going to have a humanitarian pause. And before I got here, I just saw that the humanitarian pause did not even go through. They're fighting. So it's very, very important that we send a message, as Merva said, as Fernando said, that our money stays in the United States. That it's very, very important to be able to fund healthcare. I'm a pharmacist. To be able to fund education for our children, housing for our mental health disabled individuals, and being able to have the city being in financial position that be able to have support. Right now, seeing that 60% of Palestinian people are children that are being bombed, and being able to witness that a 2-year-old, I just saw this today, a 2-year-old being detained and taken away by an Israeli soldier, it's really hard. And being able to grow up in New York with all my friends who are Jewish, and they all said, never again. We're never gonna see anybody go in concentration camps, we're never gonna see genocide. And to witness genocide in 2023 is barbaric. It's really barbaric for me to stay here and say this out loud, but it's up to you. You are the leaders. You're leaving a legacy in all the other cities that we're gonna be looking up to you to make that decision pass. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Amal.
Mayor, for having us here today. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you, Councilmember Torres, for on the agenda. I appreciate each of you. As I said, thank you for putting this resolution on the agenda tonight. I'm asking Stanton City Council to take action and pass the resolution for a permanent ceasefire. The killing in Gaza has to stop. It takes courageous leaders and people of consciousness like yourself to call for a permanent ceasefire. The Israeli state's US-backed war against the people of Gaza and the persistent disrespect of humanitarian law is shameful and must stop. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict did not start October 7th. It started in 1948, as the Palestinian people have been ethnically cleansed and driven out of their homes. And my family became refugees in 1948 as they made rooms and place for a people that were ethnically cleansed in a Holocaust in Europe. That is not okay. And this is not okay. Fast forward to the latest round of Israeli aggression and the continued Israeli indiscriminate bombing of innocent civilians is shocking, as there is no safe place for the people of Gaza to go. Not in the north, not in the south, nowhere. 20,000 people. By the way, 70% of that number are women and children, have been murdered by the Israeli occupation forces. 30,000 injured. Over 1.7 million people internally displaced. No functioning hospitals, no safe drinking water, food, shelter, as all infrastructure has been destroyed by the Israeli occupation forces.
They now face the threat of disease with the onset of winter and the lack of food and water and electricity and fuel. It is incumbent upon us all, people of consciousness, to call for a permanent ceasefire now and to demand a political solution. Once again, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you, Councilman Torres. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Dr. Mohammed.
My name is Mohammed Abdallah. I'm a local physician. First, thank you to the mayor, City Councilor Stanton, and Councilman Torres for bringing up this resolution for consideration. I'm here to urge you to pass a ceasefire resolution to help end the violence in Gaza. Israel's violent assault on Gaza has been unprecedented. Gaza is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. It's about a quarter the size of London. Since October 7th, Israel has dropped 40,000 tons of explosives on Gaza, which is more than the explosive force of the nuclear bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. Israel has effectively dropped a nuclear bomb on Gaza 2.5 times over. As a healthcare worker, I wanted to bring your attention specifically to the healthcare system in Gaza that has been intentionally targeted and destroyed. Israel has murdered 250 healthcare workers in Gaza, including 90 essential physicians, 77 nurses. Multiple hospitals have been destroyed or severely damaged, including the largest hospital in Palestine, Al-Shifa Hospital, with over 700 beds, which is completely non-functional at this time. The stories from physicians in Gaza are horrifying. They report that they're using their cell phones to operate on patients as there's no power in the hospitals. Surgeons are performing surgical procedures without anesthesia because they've run out, including limb amputations on children. Imagine the unbelievable trauma that the patient and the physician both experience from this. They report that wounds are developing maggots, severe infection due to the lack of sanitation and proper wound care. Infectious diseases such as diarrhea are spreading amongst the survivors. Just today, the World Health Organization reported that more people can die from disease than from the actual bombings if the healthcare system is not restored. Our country has been directly responsible for this genocide by providing weapons and unconditional support to Israel to continue its crimes. We need an immediate ceasefire now. Every day that goes by, more innocents are dying from violence and disease. Please help stop this. Cities across the nation are discussing ceasefire resolutions. Just tonight in Irvine, there was a city council that was urged by community members to pass a ceasefire resolution, and they're considering. It is time for the city of Stanton to follow the lead of the honorable cities that have passed previous ceasefire resolutions. Please pass the ceasefire resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the request to speak cards. Mr. Mayor, would you like to ask? Are there any other persons in the audience who hasn't filled out one of these request to speak cards that would like to speak now? Hearing none, seeing none, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to report for the record as well that we do have 10 written communications in favor of this resolution as well. And then I'd like to announce for those in the audience via Zoom, unfortunately, we do not allow the option to participate via Zoom. It is written form or in person only. So at this time, Mr. Mayor, I'll bring this back to you.
Thank you. One of the things that we want to clarify is that, and under these items, A, B, C, D, or E, these are items to where a city council member can come before the city council and ask to have something put on the agenda. Councilman Torres has asked tonight to have a discussion, and then we're going to make a decision tonight of whether or not to put it on our upcoming agenda, much like we did with Mr. Taylor and his campaign laws. Also, later on this evening, I'm going to be talking about some of the laws for business licenses. We will again take a vote to see whether or not it will be on our next upcoming agenda item. Mr. Torres, you can make a motion and explain what you would like us to do.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to move forward and put on the future agenda the resolution that was passed by the legislators in in Southern California, and I want to thank you guys for your patience, your attentiveness to responses.
Did you have a copy of that?
I do, yes. I've sent it to the city clerk.
You're saying that this resolution has already been passed by other cities in Southern California, is that correct?
Yes.
You name which city and like where, what is the stance they take on that resolution?
Yeah, so in Caraje, right, that was just passed not too long ago. This resolution has a basic, how do you call it, like a basic review or summary of calling for a ceasefire in Palestine, right, occupied Palestine and in Israel. In the first letter, in the first whereas in this ordinance, it makes sure to condemn Hamas's killings as well. So it's not like it is purely, one-sided. Additionally, this resolution calls for standing with the Palestinians. A lot of our residents are and have family members that have been directly affected by this conflict. And a lot of things were raised by people here today, saying why would a small city like Stanton, choose to, take on a resolution like this. And the truth is that international issues affect our community. 40% of our residents were born out of this country. So of course, geopolitics is going to affect our residents. So I hope that answered your question.
My understanding is that there are also other cities, perhaps not in Southern California, but other places in the United States that have also passed ceasefire resolutions that were perhaps more neutral in their verbiage. And would you consider something like that, or must it state that we are standing with the Palestinian people?
So
can it also be more broad than that?
So like I said, the first whereas in this ordinance clearly specifically laid out that it's not only Palestinian people that were hurt during the beginning of this time period of conflict, but in general, it shows the disparity between the deaths. I believe that the Palestinian people are not its government, right, as well as Jewish people are not government as well. So I think that having this resolution worded this way makes sure that people understand, especially our Palestinian residents, that we stand with them.
I noticed in the audience that everyone who spoke today were all in favor of this resolution, and they all seem to be representing the Palestinian people, I didn't hear a single Jewish voice, I guess that's what I'm saying. Do you know if we have anyone who maybe of Jewish descent that's in favor of this as well?
There are many people that I've spoken to that aren't in favor of this. The thing is that wanting a different type of voice to, I guess, represent the state and government isn't the right way to do it, because the government itself is not a representation.
I understand that, and I'm sure there are many, many Jewish people in our community who are very supportive of this desire too, but I'm not seeing that here today. I'm wondering if that was an opportunity that was missed.
We had enough time to get this on the agenda, right?
Just a point, really people rather than you.
Right, sorry,
Israel, this country, Israeli people. Is what
I agree, thank you.
I think my only disappointment was that I didn't see many of our residents here. And as you know, we are local government representing all the people in our community. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you. No matter what, the decisions we make up here today will undoubtedly affect our Palestinian population, even if we weren't here tonight. There we go. So I think I'm ready to end this as well.
Okay, would you go ahead and give your motion and we'll see if we get a second?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to put up the resolution that was passed by today.
second.
Is there a way for us to get a copy of that resolution before this item?
Correct, so at this time with Councilmember Torres's motion, it's receiving council consensus to move forward with this item. So once we move forward with that item, Mr. Torres has stated in his motion for Cudahy. So we will then bring back forward to the city council the actual Cudahy Stanton version of the resolution for your review.
If the council wants to direct, I believe we do have a copy, correct? Electronic copy of the candidate version.
Correct. That was
If the council directs us to read it, since we do have a copy.
My understanding is Oakland also happened very recently. Did we also get a copy of that one for comparison?
That one we don't have right now. We have the other one because Councilman was provided.
I do not have that with me at the time. That was provided in the initial request, but wasn't part of the packet. I did not receive a copy today. So, but that's something you have, you can pull up, Mr. Flores.
I sent you an email with the resolution as well as when I sent over the flyer, putting it on.
Correct. We will provide that as part of the packet. And I don't have access to it right now.
I mean, regardless, I find the statements made tonight are extremely compelling. I'm also a refugee. I was a product of a war-torn country, and I completely understand the implications of decisions made internationally that impact migration and movement into cultures. I understand that. I understand that it's horrific, and it impacts people for generations, generational trauma. And I think it's important as a city for us to understand the issue on a whole and make sure we hear all sides before making a decision. I'm open to this motion. I'd like to learn more. I'd like to see the different resolution options that we can consider. And I do think that even though we earlier passed an agenda item that stated that, what sort of things would be considered for proclamations and things like that, I am compelled by what you guys argued about how this impacts us. Dollars can be used locally and how people in our community have families, friends abroad that are impacted.
Mayor Pro Tem, I do have a copy of Councilmember Flores' email with the attachment. Council.
Yeah, if you guys say a lot.
Right now?
Right now, as I'm, yeah.
From your city.
That did the council still want me to read it or would you just? So this is a resolution number 2348 from the city of Cudahy. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Cudahy, California, affirming the city's support and solidarity with the Palestinian people of Gaza and support Representative Cori Bush's congressional resolution calling for an immediate de-escalation and ceasefire in Israel and occupied Palestine. Whereas 1,400 Israelis were killed by Hamas on October 7th and nearly 10,000 Palestinians, including over 3,000 children, have been killed by the Israeli government in this escalated conflict. And whereas the city stands in solidarity with the Palestinian people of Gaza who are currently facing collective punishment by the Israeli government, whereas collective punishment is considered a war crime under international law and refers to a form of sanction imposed on persons or a group of persons in response to a crime committed by one of them or a member of the group, and whereas the Israeli government is engaging in collective punishment against the Palestinian people in Gaza in response to Hamas attacks on Israel, and whereas this collective punishment of the Palestinian people includes shutting off all access to electricity, drinking water, food, and humanitarian aid, and whereas the UN says approximately 2 million people in Gaza may soon run out of drinking water and all medical care. And whereas the Gaza Strip, one of the most densely populated places on earth, has been repeatedly referred to by human rights groups as the world's largest open-air prison even prior to this conflict, and whereas Gaza is known as the world's largest open-air prison due to ongoing unbearable living conditions imposed by the Israeli government, including a full air, land, and sea blockade, enclosure of its borders by concrete walls and barbed wire fences, and the strict prohibition of Palestinians from leaving and entering the territory freely. And whereas this blockade on Gaza has caused a 42% unemployment rate, while 84% of the population relies on humanitarian aid, 41% of Palestinians have too little food, 60% of Palestinian children are anemic, and the Gazan population cannot count on more than 2 to 4 hours of continuous electrical power a day. And whereas prior to this current water shortage, only 1% of Gaza's population has access to safe drinking water, leaving Gaza's population, half of whom are children, increasingly vulnerable to waterborne diseases, infections, and dehydration. And whereas hundreds of thousands of lives are at imminent risk if the ceasefire is not achieved and humanitarian aid is not delivered without delay. And whereas the federal government holds immense diplomatic power to save Israeli and Palestinian lives, now therefore be it resolved, determined and ordered by the City Council of the City of Cudahy, California as follows. Resolved that the City of Cudahy takes seriously the Treaty of Never Again, that the historical memory of the Holocaust means fighting ethnic cleansing and apartheid everywhere, and be it further resolved that the City of Cudahy vows to combat anti-Semitism and ethno-nationalism in all its forms, and be it further resolved that the City of Cudahy calls for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and the safe passage of substantial humanitarian aid to Gaza, and be it further resolved that the City of Cudahy calls for the immediate release of all Israeli hostages taken by Hamas, and be it further resolved that the City of Cudahy calls for an end to Israeli apartheid and the occupation and blockade of Palestinian land by Israeli military forces, and be it further resolved that the City of Cudahy endorses the congressional resolution submitted by Representatives Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, Andre Carson, Summer Lee, and Delia C. Ramirez, alongside Representatives Jamal Bowman, Bonnie Watson Coleman, Jesus Chuy Garcia, Jonathan Jackson, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ahana Omar, Ayanna Presley, and Nydia Velasquez, and urges our congressional representative, Representative Robert Garcia, and California's congressional delegation to vote in support of the resolution. Be it further resolved that the City Council directs the city manager or his designee to immediately distribute this resolution upon its adoption to the offices of Senator Alex Padilla, Representatives Robert Garcia, Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, Andre Carson, Summer Lee, and Delia C. Ramirez, alongside Representatives Jamal Bowman, Bonnie Watson Coleman, Jesus Chuy Garcia, Jonathan Jackson, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Presley, and Nydia Velasquez. Finally, be it resolved that the City of Cudahy advocates for the dignity and safety of residents in every community, regardless of what crimes its leadership may commit. That peaceful diplomacy is the only way to achieve this safety mandate. Passed, approved, and adopted by the City Council of the City of Cudahy on its regular meeting on the 7th day of November 2023.
Okay, that being said, are there any questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, I'd like you to call voice vote, and also would you please read the motion?
At this time, we have a motion by Councilmember Torres and a second by Councilmember Taylor. The motion to move forward with the resolution that was passed by other Southern California cities such as Cudahy. Did you want to include Oakland or just Cudahy? I know that was a request to add by Mayor Pro Tem Dan.
You see another one?
I think because they weren't prepared. I think we can bring this with more options.
Correct. It's not about being prepared. It's a consensus item. We're here to see what Mr. Torres would like to bring forth. And then we would bring forth, now that we have consensus, if we receive consensus, we'll bring forth these two items before you. And you can decide how you'd like to proceed.
I definitely do not mind doing that, but my question is anything on that we can sparse out now?
I think seeing another resolution might have to be that better.
So there's no issue.
Like 5 minutes away.
So, I mean, that's why we have the next meeting after the time, right? So,
Right.
We can bring forth one similar to Cudahy, and then we'll also bring forth a similar
for you to review and decide. And then at that time, same thing, how this man changes, please amend as the item is brought before you, and then we can finalize.
Is that your motion?
I'm sorry, can you restate it one more time for clarification for staff?
So what I'm hearing is that the rest of council wants to look at other resolutions, but doesn't have any like opposition to this one. Right, am I, yeah, okay.
Let me go ahead, I'll help you out. I'm gonna go ahead and call for the question on your original motion. Go ahead, Patricia.
Do we have a motion by council member, or do we have a motion to move forward with the resolution that was passed by the South California cities such as? Do we have a motion by Torres? Do we have a second? That's correct. So I have a motion by council member Torres, a second by council member Taylor. I will now proceed with the voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Excuse me, ask for voice vote. Roll call.
Want a roll call?
Yes.
So again, we have a motion by Councilmember Torres, a second by Councilmember Taylor. I will now proceed with the roll call. Councilmember Torres?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Councilmember Warren?
And this is to put this on the agenda for the next council meeting with the additional.
No, this is just for that day. At that time, we can review that at a resolution for you. See if you approve the wording as is, or would you like to amend it at that time? You have substitution.
But I want this to pass. That's why I want to make sure we get a substitute motion that is acceptable by the majority. I agree with what you're saying. We should definitely put this on the agenda, and we should definitely look at this. However, like I said, I think we want to have options. But I think we can include another resolution such as, like I said, we only have 2 minutes to look at this.
Right.
And I don't know
But
what
we
the
have
next.
time for this.
Why can't?
I mean,
The other
you
ones-
could read the open, I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
right?
the other ones might be better, you don't know.
I mean, I read the open ordinance, so I can. I read it myself.
Okay.
Ordinance and law.
Okay, so.
Sorry, resolution.
Regardless, like I said, I think it's important for us to.
I'll go on. Okay, we have a motion in a second, and those are vote. I think it's too late for them to set the two motions at this time. According to, yeah, I don't want to get us in trouble.
Mayor and Council, we do have a motion and a second on the table. Certainly we can move on with it, and there are rules of there, but the voting has started.
Issue with it, that's the next one.
Go ahead now.
So at this time, we have a motion by Councilmember Torres, a second by Councilmember Taylor. Roll call vote continued is Councilmember Torres is aye, Councilmember Taylor is aye, Councilmember Warren,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Van, aye, and Mayor Schauffer.
Abstain.
Item receives council consensus with a 4-1 vote.
Okay, moving on to item 15F. This is a initiated business discussing business license compliance. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 15F is City Council initiated item discussion regarding business license compliance. At the November 14, 2023 City Council meeting, Mayor Schauffer requests that this item be agendized for discussion. Mayor Schauffer is requesting to discuss actions that the city may take to ensure that operating businesses within the city currently possess an active business license, and what actions the city may take for those who are currently operating without an active business license. Mr. Schauffer, your presentation, sir.
Thank you. We do have a lot of businesses in our community that are competitive with the people that are the business community that actually take out business licenses. They have overhead, they pay taxes, they have insurance, they pay their employees, they have workers' compensation. And those businesses that are competing with them throughout our community, and Mr. Wren has done a great job reducing that number. But there's still many of those that are impacting, what we do as far as our business goes. It actually takes away from our sales tax. So I would like to, bring back at our next council meeting, some of the different businesses categorically that we have regulations under, and see whether or not, we can do something to make sure those are enforced, or we may need to change them a little bit. But I would like to make sure that the people that do business in our town do have a business license. I think we also hold ourselves liable if we continue to let them do that. I think it would also make our code enforcement a little bit easier if we had clarity, especially with some of what's going on street corners and also public right of ways and in our shopping. Thank you. So I'll go ahead and make a motion for that.
Question. I know that for 9I today, we had talked about having the business license tax ordinance. Is this related or is this separate?
This is separate. This is an enforcement of the actual possession.
I'll second it.
Any objections? Go ahead, Patricia, call for it. Whichever you.
We have a motion by Mayor Schaber, a second by Councilmember Warren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, item receives council consent 5-0 vote.
Okay, moving on to our next one is items from our city attorney,
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There are no items.
from our executive manager.
Nothing from this evening, thank you.
Okay, report from Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Captain Walters cannot be here tonight due to family emergency. I'll be covering October statistical data for Stanton Police Services. In October, Stanton deputies responded to 1,385 calls for service. That's an average of 46 a day. When not being assigned to calls for service, deputies observed 443 violations of the law and acted on it appropriately, which resulted in warnings, citations, or arrests. Deputies made 22 arrests, 9 felony bookings, 5 misdemeanor bookings, 1 warrant bookings, 7 DUI bookings. Deputies issued 59 misdemeanor citations. Our Stanton Motor issued 180 traffic citations. He's working very hard, and I'm proud of his efforts. OCSD gang unit arrested 2 documented gang members in the month of October for various crimes. Total for 2023 is 32. Enforcement for October. Stand deputies handled the following criminal activity in the month of October. There was no homicides, 1 rape, 4 robberies using different types of weapons in the act, 13 violent assaults, 2 burglaries, 59 thefts, 7 stolen vehicles, and 1 arson. Investigations for the month of October. Stand investigators had a very busy month pertaining to various crimes that occurred. 94 total cases have been assigned to them. Currently, there's 47 cases that are open and 47 cases that have been closed. Our special enforcement team for October arrested 19, 8 felonies, 11 misdemeanors, citations. There's 5 for public nudity, 1 for narcotics. Homeless contacts were 10, which declined services. Probationers contacted was 20. Parolees contacted was 2. Prostitutes contacted 10. Juvenile prostitutes was 0. Pimps arrested 0. Returned juvenile runaway 0. Recovered stolen vehicles 1. Firearms seized 0. Parolee at large 2. The team assisted Stanton investigations, North Narcotics, South Narcotics, North Bed, human trafficking, North Gang, South Gang. They're doing outstanding work. The homeless liaison pilot program, update for October. Our 2 HO deputies have been very busy and successful. Businesses have been continuing to call. A sense of teamwork is beginning to form within the community. Thank you to City Council for writing with our HLOs. They love it and are excited to show you all what they have to deal with on a daily basis. Our response times for October for priority 1 calls are 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Priority 2 calls is 11 minutes 30 seconds. Priority 3, 19 minutes and 16 seconds. These are very good signs and have improved since getting several staff members off training. Community update for October. I want to thank all the city staff for being great partners with OCSD. The team was outstanding, and I'm proud of our working relationship. We're an halfway staff, and our deputies working together as a cohesive team. In partnership with North Direct Enforcement Team, DEP, Stanton, Police Services arrested 3 suspects who have been burglarizing the WSS store. The stolen merchandise has been returned to the store, and several guns have been taken off the street. Great work by OCSD and investigators in this case. The communication amongst OCSD and Stanton is truly impressive. When incidents arise, notifications are done very quickly. This has a major impact for the community. The holidays are here, so my message is to please make sure everyone locks their vehicles and not leave presents and or electronics in your vehicles overnight. If anyone has any questions in the community, please don't hesitate to call us. This concludes my presentation, and we have to answer any questions.
Thank you for that report, really appreciate it. And, if you'd please let, again, our deputies do a very great job with doing it. We have seen so much improvement, over the past few months, especially some of the special operations that we have done. Those are greatly appreciated. So please pass that on. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anything from staff? Good night.